Hello to all the classic people that are returning. I'm glad you're back. I want to welcome any new visitors. As a technical note, references and citations are listed for each show on the site at classicmovierev.com. Today on the Classic Movie Rev, we are taking on something a little different for Christmas past, present, and future. In 1980, WKRP in Cincinnati, one of the funniest television shows of all times, released their take on Charleston's A Christmas Carol as Season 3, Episode 7, Bah Humbug. I will not talk about any of the actors. I'll assume you already know them. If you don't, please find the show and give it a watch. Before we get going, I want to remind you to follow the links in the show notes or from the site to visit our store. Also, there's a lot of useful information on the resources page at classicmovierev.com. Story.
Let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up.
It's the day of the big Christmas party at WKRP. Disc jockey Venus Flytrap, played by Ted Reed, programmer Bailey Quarters, played by Jan Smithers, salesman Herb Tarlick, played by Frank Bonner, and newsman Les Nessman, played by Richard Sanders, are snacking and discussing their potential Christmas bonuses. Disc jockey Dr. Johnny Fever, played by Howard Hessman, comes in with a plate of brownies. When Venus finds out that Johnny made the brownies, he refuses to eat one. The station manager, Andy Travis, played by Gary Sandy, comes into the room, and Herb asks if they will be getting Christmas bonuses. Andy doesn't know the answer. Andy picks up a brownie, and when he finds out that Johnny made them, he puts it back. Venus says he needs the money to buy his grandmother a color television so she can watch 8 is Enough in color. Herb needs the money to get braces for his daughter's teeth, which are very crooked. Bailey says she just wants the money. Les says that for 25 years they have been promised a bonus when the station becomes profitable. Les is towing the communist line. Andy tells the crew that he supports them getting bonuses, but it's up to the station manager, Arthur Carlson, played by Gordon Jump. Andy says that Carlson's mother, the owner of the station, is Genghis Khan. Carlson walks in and asks whose mother is Genghis Khan, and they all reply mine. Carlson says, maybe it's an epidemic. Carlson cracks the whip on the staff and tells them to get busy because WKRP is a business. Venus reminds him that last year Carlson said it was a family. He comes back with a shaken, well, it's a family business. Carlson grabs a couple of brownies and says that the party this year will be great. Herb laments that without braces, no one will marry his daughter. Venus says he will, and that is Herb's greatest fear. Carlson is in his office and has eaten the brownies. He is starting to get sleepy as he writes a letter explaining why the staff will not get a bonus. Carlson drifts off to sleep in his chair. The lights darken and a figure of Carlson's grandfather, played by himself, enters the room wearing chains. The receptionist, Jennifer Marlowe, played by Lonnie Anderson, a vision of loveliness, won't let Carlson be disturbed. She goes into the office and sees Carlson sleeping. Carlson is still seeing his grandfather. He asks if this is going to be another one of those Charles Dickens Christmas Carol things. His grandfather tells him he has to change his ways before it's too late. The grandfather says that Carlson is buying a new control board to impress his mother instead of giving bonuses. Carlson slaps himself trying to wake up. The grandfather ghost tells him he can't wake up because he ate one of Johnny's brownies. Carlson runs out of his office hollering for Jennifer. When he sees her, she is all in white and glowing as the ghost of Christmas past. He goes back into his office and she is already there. She takes him to a Christmas in 1954 at WKRP. Carlson is the sales manager and wins the Volkswagen account. The newsman says nobody will buy VWs. Carlson is trying to please his mother. The station manager, Mr. Armour, played by Parley Bear, comes in with a turkey and is very jolly. He is the Fezziwig character. Mr. Armour complains that the disc jockeys are playing rock and roll as a crooner like Perry Como sings Christmas songs. Les comes in and he is promoted from newsboy to cub reporter. Mr. Armour gives Les a bow tie and Les vows that he will never come to work without it. Mr. Armour gives out Christmas bonuses even though he knows Carlson's mother won't be happy. The ghost of Christmas past reminds Carlson that his mother fired Mr. Armour the next day. Carlson doesn't want to leave. The ghost of Christmas past fades away as Carlson says that WKRP is barely making money and they can't afford to pay bonuses. Carlson hears boisterous laughing from outside of his office. When he opens the door, the Hallelujah Choir plays. As the ghost of Christmas present, Venus is sitting in a large red chair on top of one of the desks. He is wearing a red and white robe and has a holly crown. Venus tells Carlson he is having a dream. Herb comes in and is complaining about being Carlson's yes man and not getting a bonus. Bailey comes in complaining that she works 3 times as hard as any man in the office and is not getting a bonus. Herb calls his wife and says their daughter will have to go to a convent when she grows up because no one will marry her. Les enters the room and tells Bailey that one of them will have to work Christmas Day. Bailey says she will do it because she doesn't have enough money to fly home without the bonus. Andy comes in and says he went to talk to Carlson, but he was taking a nap. Bailey asks how Carlson could sleep at a time like this. Invisible Carlson says it's the brownies. Staff starts talking about taking other jobs. Andy says Carlson is a tightwad. The ghost sends him back to his office. Carlson looks for his checkbook to write bonus checks. Johnny arrives as the ghost of Christmas future. The ghost says this trip is about seeing how large the bonuses will be. Carlson says he's only in this mess because of Johnny's brownies. The ghost says there's nothing wrong with the brownies and everyone jumps to the wrong conclusion about Johnny Fever. The ghost takes Carlson to WKRP in the future. The station is almost entirely automated. The only human there is Herb. Herb is making automated sales calls as he looks at a girly magazine. The ghost says that one by one Carlson forced them all away. Bailey is running a television station in Chicago. Travis is raising guard dogs in New Mexico. Venus owns a clothing company. Jennifer married well and bought an island. And Les is the Republican whip in the Senate. The ghost says Johnny just disappeared. Herb talks to himself saying little Herb is home from the Forest Service and Bunny is home from the convent. Carlson believes things can be different. Carlson wakes in his office with Jennifer patting him on the back. She helps him find his checkbook to write bonus checks. Jennifer says it was just a dream. Johnny comes in and Carlson is happy to see him. Carlson says his mother will be mad, but he is in charge. He wants the brownies to take to his mother's house. Jennifer kisses Johnny on the mouth and wishes him Merry Christmas. Johnny is gobsmacked and says, "God bless us, everyone." Summary. Bailey was insecure about her abilities in many episodes, and the future has her running a television station in Chicago. Andy has gone back to the simple life he craved back in New Mexico, and there was an episode about some girlfriend and a dog. Venus, who was always sharply dressed, owns a clothing company in the future. There was at least one episode about him trying to dress in a super hip style when a magazine was interviewing him. Jennifer always dated very old and rich men. In the future, she married well and bought an island. Johnny was always mysterious about his past, from living in a trailer to spending time in a Mexican jail. So him just fading away fits well. Little Herb works for the Forest Service doing manly work. There was an entire episode about Herb trying to hide the fact that his son played with dolls. Les being the Republican whip in the Senate is the funniest part. He was always seeing McCarthy-style plots and worrying about the Russians. In one episode, he met his biological father, and the man was a communist. World famous short summary. Who made the brownies? Okay, I'll be back in about 2 weeks in January, and we'll have added 1996 movies to the list of available choices, as they will now be 25 years old. I hope you enjoyed today's show. You can find connections to social media and email on the site at classicmovierev.com or in the podcast show notes. Don't forget to follow the links in the show notes or from the site to visit our store. If you enjoyed this show, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you've already subscribed, you can tell a friend, colleague, or family member about the show or leave a review at Apple Podcasts. It really helps the show get found. If you want to comment, suggest a movie, or help out, contact me by email at jec@classicmovierev.com. Beware the Moors and ho ho ho.